Hi, this is John for Lacat TV, and we are cooking with John. We're cooking collard greens, and we're using the Elite Platinum pressure cooker. We have some nature shredded collards. These are bought from Walmart. One reason we like them bagged is they're fresh and they're clean. We still clean them, but I have found them to be very clean. We also have, for some seasoning, some pork neck bones. You can use pork neck bones, or you can use ham hocks, or you can use turkey necks, whatever is your flavor. But we are cooking collards with John, so let's get started. Okay, the first step I want to take is I want to set the pressure cooker to meat and chicken. Now, all I'm going to do is brown the meat, or basically take the neck bones. I'm going to allow the neck bones to release some of their oil into the pan. All this acts like now is just a hot frying pan. That's all the pressure cooker is right now. If you want to look inside, I'll put a little oil in the pan. You can use oil, you can use bacon grease, you can use maybe a little butter, but you want to put a little oil in the pan to keep it from burning. But remember, right now, step one, you're just taking your meat and you're going to just smoke it a little bit. Let it smoke, let it brown a little bit. But before I put them in, I will rinse them off. Might rinse off some of the flavor, but I can always add the flavor back with seasoning. Now I will add 2 of the neck bones, and you notice I'll look for the meaty part. I'll put the meaty part down, bony part up if possible. Okay, there you're looking in the pan. You see the pan and you see I have the meaty part down, and that will cook for about 15 minutes, just to help loosen it up a little bit, loosen up some of the oil. For this step, I place the pressure cooker under my exhaust fan on the stove because the meat will smoke a little bit and you don't want to fill your kitchen with smoke. You can remove the pressure cooker from underneath the exhaust fan once you start using the pressure mode. For step 5, I put a little peppercorn in, ground. I have a peppercorn grinder like you use with a salad. This is whole colored cherry peppercorn. So I'll put a little peppercorn in, gives a little kick, a little season. Here's a look in the pot. You can see that that's really cooking hot. Like I said, this is nothing more than right now just a hot electric skillet. There's no pressure being applied. And you can just let it go for about 12 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay, I just turned it over. We don't want it to burn. So I turned it after about 5 or 6 minutes. And let it cook a little bit on the other side. I also sprayed the bottom of the pan again with some Kirkland canola cooking oil to stop it from sticking. Now this is the canola oil cooking spray. You can purchase it from Costco, or you can just purchase some online or from your grocery store. It's basically just a cooking spray, cooking oil to stop things from sticking. A little point too, just so you know about cooking spray. It's a very handy device for using around the house for oiling things such as door hinges, cabinet hinges, anything that squeaks. You can use cooking oil. And unlike WD-40 or some harsh chemicals, it's not a harsh chemical. The inside environment, your children won't get sick by the odors, anything like that. So just remember, a nice little house tip: spray your door hinges, other things that stick, with canola oil cooking spray, or something like Pam, the same thing. Thank you, and let's get back to cooking these greens. Okay, now I'm ready to start with the pressure cooker. You're going to need about a cup of water or a cup and a half in the bottom of the pan. Now you might want to add to your water, if you want some more flavor, you can add sea salt. you could add chicken broth. I'm not going to tell you what my secret ingredient is. If you want to send me an email, I'll put my email at the end of this, and you can send me an email, and then I'll tell you what the secret ingredient is. That way I know you watched the video all the way to the end. But we're going to start the pressure cooker now. Now we're ready to start the pressure cooker. There's a couple procedures you must do when starting the pressure cooker. One, make sure your handle is on and closed. The handle has to be closed. Two, on top is the release valve. You have to make sure the release valve is in the airtight position. In other words, the airtight position will line up this dot, sorry about that, this dot with the dot that says airtight. Those are the two things you must do to start the pressure cooker. Now the next thing we'll do, we'll come back to the menu. You see, after cooking just the meat on the meat and chicken, it's gone to keep warm, and you press that. That's also the cancel button, as you can see. So I will press that. It goes out, and when that goes out, then I will press the meat and chicken again and allow it to cook for 12 minutes. So I'm going to press the meat and chicken now. And it will flash P12. That tells you it's building up pressure. When that stops building up pressure, then it will start to count down from P12. P stands for pressure, 12 stands for 12 minutes. You can change the minutes by changing the pressure cook time. If you press the pressure cook time, it will go up in time. So you have two settings, hours and minutes. The meat I only need to cook for about 12 minutes, and then remember it will go back to keep warm and cancel. Now I also removed it from off the stove in case I need to use the stove. The pressure cooker can just sit on the counter. It's safe to use. It's not like maybe the old pressure cookers, even those were safe to use. Like your mother might have had that she had to put on the stove and then you heat it up on the stove. These modern pressure cookers have a release valve. They shouldn't go over pressure. If they do, that valve should release, but it will stay tight as long as it's under pressure. And here are some of the instructions and cautions if you want to read them about the pressure cooker. And I'll mention that when I open it up to put the greens into the pressure cooker. For our next step, we want to prepare the sink for the collards. We first wash out our sink. So you start with a nice clean sink before putting your collards into the sink. Now we're adding some cool water to the greens. You don't need to use cold water, warm. It really doesn't matter. You could use warm water, but cool water is fine. And we'll rinse the greens twice. What you're looking for to see if you feel any sand or grit at the bottom. I have never found these greens to be dirty or have any sand or grit in them at all, which tells you that the manufacturer or the canner, they do a pretty good job at cleaning the greens. Now for some of you might say you have to buy fresh greens from the field. If you were to buy fresh greens from the field, you have to shred them, you have to take them off of the stalks. You could cut up and use the stalks, but they're pretty heavy. You have to make sure there's no bugs in them, and then you probably will have to clean them 3 times or more to get the sand out. If you don't do that, they'll be sandy. So let's clean our greens out. And we're just going to sort of do like you might do in a washing machine. We're just going to move them around in the water. And as we move them around in the water, we just let them wash and let them sit a minute. We'll drain the water and repeat. And if there's no grit, then we know they're clean, and then we'll start putting them into the pressure cooker. Now after the first cleaning, There was nothing, no grit, no sand, no nothing in the bottom of the sink. But just as it's my custom, I'm going to clean it twice. So I'm going to do the water again and clean it a second time. While I'm cleaning it, I will chop up some onions, probably about quarter length or quarter inch squares of onions. Now I'm probably going to cut up almost a whole onion. I have a half onion remaining, so I'll cut that up, and then I'll cut up half of this other onion. And when I put the collards into the pressure cooker, you'll notice I will layer them. Layer, L-A-Y-E-R. I won't put them all in at once, but I'll put some collards, a little pepper, a little onions. You'll see. So let's get going with, I guess this would be step 8, cutting up the onion. Okay, there we have the cut up onions. Now the other thing I like to put into my collards is a jalapeno pepper. So I like to get a jalapeno pepper, cut it up, and put it into the collards. Okay, this part is important. Before you open the pressure cooker, you have to release the pressure. So what you do is you turn this to exhaust. And when you turn it to exhaust, if it's under pressure a lot, it will steam. This did not steam much because it's been on warm for a little while I was doing other things, and the meat is inside. So what I'm going to do now is open the pressure cooker. To open it, let me back up. Now that I've taken that, you just open the handle and you just take the handle off. And I will say drain the juices. You might want to turn on your exhaust fan because there may be some steam that comes out of the pressure cooker, and steam travels through your kitchen, makes your kitchen dirty. Okay, there's a shot inside of the juices and the meat. I'll take a fork and see how tender the meat is. The meat will just keep getting tender as I cook the greens. Okay, I take the greens, they're in a pan here, and I'll take the pan and I'll just put the pan and put the collards right in here, like this, like so. You can see I'm just going to put the collards straight in. They go in, no spilling when I put the pan in pretty far. Now me, I'll take the pepper grinder, I'll grind up a little more pepper and put some more pepper into the greens as well. Now we will add 1/2 of the onions into the pressure cooker. Okay, let's take a look inside the pressure cooker. You see that? What I'll now do, I'll take a spoon and I will stir it all up. I'll take a spoon and I'll stir this whole mixture up nice and good. I'll take the spoon and stir so I get all the meat and juices mixed into the green. Now I'm going to repeat this procedure with more greens, more onions, and a wee bit more pepper into the greens, more stirring. The reason you stir, you want to get that flavor off the bottom mixed all into the greens when you turn your pressure cooker back on. So now let's get something else I'm going to put in here. I'll tell you about here in a second. 2 things you really need to add, make it the flavor a little better now. Add about a tablespoon now of apple cider vinegar. You don't have to order the organic or buy the organic. The other thing you want to add is maybe a teaspoon of brown sugar or a teaspoon of white sugar, or if you don't want to use sugar, you could use stevia or you could use Splenda. Okay, now I added the other greens, the other onions. I added a little more vinegar, 2 tablespoons more vinegar. I added another teaspoon of sugar. Now I have another bag of collards. My wife wants me to cook both bags, so I want to add those to this as well. But before I add anything else, I'm going to stir it up again. So take your spoon, preferably a non-metallic plastic or wood spoon so it won't scrape your pressure cooker inside, and stir it one more time good. Okay, the second bag of collards, it's made from a different supplier. It's Nature's Greens, collard greens. And one thing I know is theirs are not cut as fine. They're a little broader cut, and some people like them that way better. I find either way they're good. This one came from Harris Teeter, the grocery store Harris Teeter. The other one's from Collards from Harris Teeter. One thing you'll notice about these, the bag is smaller, probably for about the same price. Walmart's price is better, so this would be a breeze to clean and put in the pot. Now we're going to cook the collards in the pressure cooker. So let's put the lid on. Notice we're going to put the lid on. It has a slot where the lid goes. Make sure you put it on the right slot. When it's on, it fits. You turn it and it's locked. Next, you want to make sure you put the exhaust valve back on airtight. So we move this back to the airtight position. So notice the valve is in the airtight position. Okay, now once we're in the airtight position, now we can set the pressure cooker. The setting I use on this pressure cooker is soup and stew. But first I have to push the cancel button one time. Then I press the soup and stew. It starts at 25, but I'm going to take it up by pressing the pressure cooker time button. And I'm going to go as high as it will go. Now you're going to notice when I get to 60, it won't go past 60. That's really it, is 60. So that's 60 minutes, and that's it. It will cook on its own. It will build up pressure. That tells you it's building up pressure. When the pea comes on, it's in the pressure mode, and it's cooking. 60 minutes, I'll come back, and I'll probably do it for another maybe 30 minutes. But usually I just do 60 minutes. But I'll check the greens, see how they taste. And if they need another 30 minutes, I'll do it another 30 minutes. That's collard cooking with a pressure cooker using the Elite Platinum pressure cooker. In the video at the end or down below, I'll put a link to the best-selling pressure cooker on Amazon. Once again, Cooking Collards with a Pressure Cooker by John Walker, Collards TV. One other point about cooking with a pressure cooker. When you're cooking with a pressure cooker, you don't lose any of the juice. So all the juice is retained from cooking collards. It makes an excellent soup base for either rice or noodle soup. Okay, we're going to open up the pressure cooker. First thing, we want to turn it to exhaust, but it's been on heat for a while, so it should be okay. Now we turn the lid, open it, a little pressure. I let the water drop. Set the lid down. Let's take a look in the pot. You can see the greens. We come in, take a look. Let's slide the pot over to the light. Give you a little better view. Now what I'll do before, I will stir it up some. We want to mix it up. And if you look at the meat now, you'll see the meat will just, let me get a piece of the meat in the picture, it'll just come off the bone. It just falls apart. And that's what you want. We'll fall it all apart, take the bones out, and you just have the meat. Now, we'll end it here. And we've got one last test to make sure it's right. Now the final test, Christine is our official tester, taste tester for collards. So let's let Christine taste it. Tell us what you think, Christine. She gives a thumbs up. That means it's good. Nothing needs to be added?
Nope.
Perfect?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Now for a wrap up, some final thoughts. Cooking Collards with John Walker, Collards TV. You may wonder, why cook collards in the pressure cooker? Well, the main reason I wanted to do this, both Chris and I like collards, but we wanted to reduce the time. The prep time may be 15 to 20 minutes max. Most of the time,
The pressure cooker just runs, it does its own thing. There's really very little for you to do. The second reason was really I wanted to improve the quality of the collards. Since they're maintained in the pressure cooker, once I got the timing right, the quality actually improved. And as I shown in another video 3, you maintain all your juice. So since you maintained all of your juice, you have this juice later that you can use for soup or for something else. And so I really recommend try cooking collards in the pressure cooker. It really works. Thank you for watching. John Walker for Collards TV. Please subscribe to my channel. It's Collards TV, a YouTube channel.